Mike Schur badly wants to make fun of all of this show's Tyler Herro coverage, so he'll be joining us a little bit later on. And I wanted to talk to Ariel Helwani, who is always exceptional. I wanted to talk to him about this gangster move Ngannou just pulled off, getting out from under Dana White's thumb to just create a market for himself that brings the heavyweight champion to him so that they can make tens of millions of dollars together in what has become the circus sideshow spawned by the fighting sewer business, where they're tired of being controlled by the promoters, and they've realized, all of them, wait a minute, we can go off to the side here and just cut our own deals where boxing isn't screwing us at every turn. And this goes back so long. Don King used to trick Ali by just putting a suitcase with $1 million cash in front of him and be like, here's the deal. And of course, Ali would take it without knowing how much more money was actually being made off of these fights. And Ngannou just figured it out on Dana White, and Tyson Fury just figured it out, where the amount of dollars that this fight is going to get, because a boxing match is now going to lure the entire MMA audience, and it's just a carnival show. I want to talk to him about how much money Ngannou made. This was a person who was homeless. You cannot believe what a badass this human being is. Dana White wants to control him, can't, calls him a coward who doesn't want to fight because Dana doesn't want to pay him. And now Ngannou has beaten Dana White at this game. I just want to know by how much, because this October 28th fight that Ngannou and Fury are going to have, I'm expecting Dana White to put a card opposite it on October 28th, because he's not going to like Ngannou getting this kind of run against his business.
It looks like the chess piece has already been moved by Dana White. There's been social media commentary, and there's been a lot of things that have happened where now Bellator fighters are showing up on UFC's website. And that's never happened before. So the play for the chess play for Dana might have been to go out and buy Bellator and then absorb them into the UFC. So that might have been that chess piece. But also, there's already been a rematch clause in the Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou fight, so guaranteeing them another fight once this one is already done.
I want to talk to Ariel Helwani about it because he's going to have more expertise here than most.
Tony, is there a card he could put together that would, I guess, outdraw the fight?
No, they're already set up with those cards. So this next coming one, 291 in July, is going to be incredible. There's one in August. Like, they already have their cards spread out. So to put a massive card against that one probably wouldn't be a good move, because a lot of your champions can't fight on that short notice.
I don't think Ariel is going to be able to do better than what Stugotz just did, reacting to Tony's take of,
Well, I asked a question.
No, you did. You had to go, but I love that's one of my favorite moves is the Stugotz.
It's a sports radio staple. You have to have someone by your side just going,
He's valuable.
Yeah. It's what TJ did for Boomer many, many years. Yeah, for many years. Boomer would deliver the highlights, and TJ would just go,
That's what you need. The hype man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Juju, put it on the poll, please, at LeBatard Show. Is vital to sports radio. Stugotz
What happened?
came in today with breaking news that he seemed to find stunning, because he said that his wife recently found him attractive.
I think for the first time in a long time, and maybe the first time ever, for all I know. But, Dan, I am telling you, we had a week in Tahoe, and then I went to San Francisco. I made friends in Tahoe, and those relationships carried over to the dead shows in San Francisco. So it's the last show. It is Sunday night. I have FOH passes, which is front of house passes for those not in the know. Okay?
Oh, wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let me get it.
Oh, it gets worse. Okay.
Can I just jump in real fast? 'Cause
Yeah.
I saw this picture of you and Bill Walton, and you had a sticker that said FOH pass.
Yeah.
And he had like a lanyard.
Well, he's different.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
so are you having to? I'm picturing the will call. He walks up, Bill Walton just gets the lanyard, and I'm Stugotz. I talked to this person, and they're just like, you're not here, sir. And then they have to end up giving you a sticker because that's like all like that's their break glass in emergency.
Well, Bill doesn't go to will call. Bill goes where he wants to go. Bill goes directly into the concert. Bill is friends with the guys in the band in a way that I'll never be. Okay? So Bill just gets what he gets, and he can go wherever he wants because he's earned that. He played drums at the pyramids in Egypt with the Grateful Dead. Okay?
Guess
Like, he
that's a big
did.
deal.
He played the drums.
You say that like I don't know what that
He's
means.
their friend. I'm not, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. So I had FOH. Bill had I can go wherever the hell I want passes, okay? Mine only took me as far as side of the soundstage, which is right in the middle usually, on the floor, GA, side soundstage. For the last show, it was a tough ticket. I was very grateful that they gave me those tickets. See what I did there? Grateful, yeah. And so I'm sitting there, and we're in, front of house, and my wife's not impressed with that because we've been on stage before at Dead shows. My wife has been on stage before with me at a Dead show. You can hit that button whenever you want, Dan. So we're front of house, and I'm hobnobbing with Bill Walton. I am hobnobbing with Luke Walton. I am talking to Adrian Grenier.
Adrian Grenier.
Wow. Whatever.
Vinny
happened
Chase
to
from Entourage.
Yeah,
I'm talking to him. My wife's not impressed. She's like, Bill Walton on your podcast all the time. I don't know who this Luke Walton is. He's a smaller version of Bill Walton. Right. And I forget who Adrian Grenier is, right? Vinny Chase, the whole series.
You forgot? You were...
She has no idea who Grenier is. She had to ask me like 3 times.
But had you forgotten?
No, I knew who he was.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. So, but then Miles Teller walks in. Goose's son from Maverick. Now, we had a conversation out in Tahoe. He had a Dead & Company sweatshirt on. We bonded over that. We had a quick conversation. And then Mike Golick Sr. walked over. And I suddenly, because he has a crush on Mike Golick Sr., I became invisible, I thought, to Miles Teller. Because he worked out Golick for 45 minutes.
Wait a minute. Slow down. Miles Teller has a huge crush on Golick?
Yes.
That is awesome.
You're just hearing about this? I'm talking Dead & Company with Miles Teller in Lake Tahoe. Okay, we're having a nice conversation. He's telling me
bonding.
He's telling me he's going to the show on Sunday.
You're sure it's Miles Teller.
I'm sure.
This time I promise
Well done.
it is Miles
It's
Teller.
Miles Teller.
You're 100% sure
Yes.
it's not.
I hope. I mean,
Okay, you think it's Miles
Sure it's not
Teller.
TJ Oshie?
it was Miles Teller. Okay?
TJ Oshie.
I mean, TJ Oshie had one of the great moments. I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. Ever. I mean, one of the most patriotic moments you'll ever see in your life. It was unbelievable. But we digress, okay? Back to Miles Teller, I think. Miles Teller and I have a conversation. We're bonding over Dead & Company. He's telling me, hey, I'm going to the Sunday show. I said, really? I'm going to the Friday show, the Saturday show, and the Sunday show. He was upset. But then Golick walks over, and he pushes me aside, and he works Golick out for 40 minutes, okay?
That's an odd visual you're creating there.
Listen,
Pushed you?
He, like,
Working him out for 15 minutes.
He got rid of me because he wanted Golick all to himself, okay? Because he's a Notre Dame fan, he's a football fan, and he grew up watching Mike and Mike. And it was nice for Golick to have that moment, so I got out of the way. I was not happy about it. But then on Sunday, I am at the Dead show, FOH, and in walks Miles Teller. And he locks eyes with me. We walk over to each other. I have, right in front of my wife, who was introduced to Miles Teller, by the way, not a 1-minute conversation, not a 2-minute conversation, not a 5-minute conversation, a 10 to 12-minute conversation with Miles Teller about all things Tahoe, all things golf, how Marty Fish got robbed, and Dead & Company. And I am telling you, I looked out of the corner of my eye at Abby, okay, who had just shook hands with Miles Teller. And she was looking at me in a way she has never looked at me before. Now, Dan, I think she was attracted to me. I will tell you, nothing has resulted since, but I think in that moment, she was as attracted to me as she has ever been.
Put it on the poll,
was a great
please,
moment.
Juju,
Yeah, I
at
mean,
LeBatard Show.
swooning.
Was Stugotz' wife attracted to Stugotz or Miles Teller?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's
It
called the
just dawned on
championship
me.
rub right there,
It's
Stu.
just, yeah. And listen, I parlayed it into absolutely nothing, okay? Nothing with Abby. But I think in that moment, now Dan's got me thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Miles. It couldn't have been Bill.
You promised the audience, put it on the poll as well, Juju, was Stugotz' wife attracted to Bill Walton? yes or no. But you mentioned you were going to give us in minutes your patriotic take, and I wanted to get to that since you promised it. I didn't want to forget.
Mike didn't tell you, huh?
No.
I mean, damn, Miles Teller, 10 to 12 minutes. We're friends. I got his number. Maybe we'll get him on the show.
Of course, it's not a 10, 12-minute interview.
And by the show, I mean God bless football. So anyway, patriotic moment. We are at the food truck event. Chris is well aware of this event. It's a great event, right?
I hate that I missed that.
And there's kind of like a rock and roll band, and they're playing the rock and roll version of the national anthem, right? Now, TJ Oshie, Captain America, he knows what to do when the anthem is played. He stands up, he takes his hat off, and he expects the entire table he's sitting at to do the same. They didn't. And Mike and I witnessed this together. With a single glance across that table, a single glance from Captain America, the entire table stopped what they were doing, ended all conversations, got up, took whatever hats they had on, they took them off, they put them right up to their heart, and they honored the national anthem. And that's what you do if you're TJ Oshie. It's the greatest moment of patriotism that I've ever seen in American history.
What?
Wow.
What? Who? What? Huh?
I mean, this guy,
He nailed it.
he is the best. I mean, no one says USA like TJ Oshie. Nobody.
No one says
He has
patriotism like
scored
Stugots.
4 of the biggest goals in USA hockey history, all in one shootout, by the way. And he did that at the food truck event in Lake Tahoe.
How were the food trucks this year?
Oh, they were great.
Who was at the sad table?
I didn't take my hat off. I was eating.
With no Brian Kelly there this year.
You haven't taken that hat off in 2 months.
Who was that? Who was at the sad table by themselves eating with no Brian Kelly?
Oh, wow.
Jay
that's a
Peterman
great
was doing
question.
all the greeting of everyone
Oh,
up
he was-
until the very end of the night, though. He knows why he's there.
It was Joe Theismann.
It was Joe Theismann.
There's always one sad table of some guy, some celebrity just eating a sad hot dog from some truck.
It's a good move by TJ, though, right, Dan? I
Are
mean,
you
gives
familiar,
that look.
Greg, with what happened to Stugotz with Aaron Rodgers
I am.
in Tahoe?
I sure am.
Because I
my
can't.
guy.
Let's start the interview about that with Stugotz. You asked the first question.
All right. First of all, how
This is a new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugots. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Dan had to leave early today. We'll get to Mike Schur and his Tyler Herro take in just a second. But Mike, I have a couple of baseball questions for you first, okay? Just some things we were discussing out in Lake Tahoe. Things you do when you're sitting out over a lake having a couple of beers. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You do, huh? Last time you went to a lake, Mike Schur.
I don't go to lakes often.
Right.
Is one of these questions, what does Aaron Rodgers look like? Because
touche.
that was truly delightful to listen to that. I mean,
Magical, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question before you ask me your
Please,
questions.
yeah.
I forget the name now of the country music star.
Jake
who
Owen.
You were Jake Owen. How tall is Jake Owen? Would you say?
I would say Jake Owen is probably, I want to say 6 feet tall.
They look similar
Okay.
height in this picture
Yeah.
that they're showing right
Now,
now.
Jake
Yeah,
Owen did
all
me
right.
dirty. He had the beard when I saw him on the range, and then the next day he shaved the beard in order just to highlight how much he does not look like Aaron Rodgers.
I looked him up after I heard you
Yeah.
talking about him.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, okay. Like he looks more like Aaron Rodgers than I was picturing in my head, but he's also got like he looks like a handsome gentleman,
He is.
and he's in pretty good shape, but he's got if you put that picture up again, he's got a little bit of a paunch around. It's a tiny bit. Like that's not an amount of belly fat, even that a professional NFL quarterback would ever
We are being
have, even in the
hypercritical.
offseason.
No, you have me paying attention to details like that, Mike. You know me. I mean,
But Stu, you actively patted him in the stomach. You
I did.
brought
You
him
hugged
in.
him
Twice.
You
Yeah,
not only
yeah,
hugged him, you
yeah,
brought him in.
yeah,
It's
I did.
unbelievable the way that you were able to mistake this person. He has this beard. He's so skinny. He's got not a gut, but not Aaron Rodgers jacked.
but
like
he had enough of a six-pack where it was convincing. And listen, when I stare at a guy and I say, "You're my quarterback," and he stares right back at me and says, "I am your quarterback,"
Yeah, it's on him.
What am I to think? Right? It's thank you,
Exactly.
Chris. It's
Tricked
on
you.
him. He tricked me. He sunk into it. It
he
was
was
fantastic.
misleading you.
Yep.
he
really
did by
was.
being in good shape. How
No,
dare he?
Just by sinking into it and just saying, "I'm going to make this guy as uncomfortable as possible," but I win. That's it.
All right.
I mean, by the way, the second we're done with that interview with Jake Owen, there is a kid standing there with an Aaron Rodgers jersey waiting to ask Jake Owen for Aaron
that true?
Yes, 100%.
That's actually true.
That's actually true.
It's true.
Yes.
Stupid kid.
Yes.
Wow. Did you plant him? Was that a plant by you? That hey
I
kid,
really-
hey kid, come over here and ask. Pretend
Make
like
me
it's
look
Aaron.
good.
Right.
I like the idea that this random kid justifies Stugotz, sports commenter, not knowing who Aaron Rodgers is.
I'll give you $50 if you put on this Aaron Rodgers jersey and hang out near Jake Owen.
Exactly.
Greg, you're on to me.
I'm telling you.
All right, so we played a game out in Tahoe called Start for Your Life, okay? You have a game. A baseball game is to be played. Your life depends on the outcome of this game. Who do you want pitching for your team in that game? Start for your life. Here are your choices, okay?
Okay.
Why can't he just pick a pitcher?
He can't.
No, give me the choices.
Here are the choices. That's not the game, Chris. I mean,
You weren't there, Chris. You don't get it.
okay.
Yeah, Chris, you don't understand. You
Here-
weren't in Tahoe.
Oh, Jesus.
Tabros.
Oh, God. All right, here are your choices. Beckett, Smoltz, Pettit, Jack Morris, game for your life.
I mean, there's so many funny things about this. First of all, I know I'm biased. I'm a Red Sox fan, but that entire David Wells interview, anytime you asked him like about a start for your life or like a great pitcher, all he did was name his former teammates.
I know.
It was just Pettit and Cone.
Yes.
The ones who
and
carried him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like look up Andy Pettit's postseason stats as I did after I heard that interview.
Right.
Pettit was 19-11 in the postseason. He had exactly the same career winning percentage in the postseason as he did in the regular season. Exactly the same. His ERA is exactly the same. His WHIP is exactly the same. Like it is such a false narrative that Andy Pettit was this incredible big game pitcher. He was the same guy.
Right.
It's the same thing as Derek. And granted, the competition's always good in the playoffs, but it's the same thing as Derek Jeter being Mr. November, Mr. Playoffs. Same batting average postseason or regular season. Same stats across the board. He was exactly the same guy. The answer is exactly the same guy. The answer, it's not Jack Morris. Jack Morris famously pitched that 10-inning game and won Game 7.
It was kind of a
If you
game.
look at-
It was kind of a game for your life scenario, you know?
Look what happened the next years when he was with Toronto. He pitched in the World Series and got lit up. He absolutely got lit up. He had 2 chances, I believe, to clinch that series for the Blue Jays, and he lost both of them and got knocked out in like the 4th inning. It's a complete fiction that Jack Morris was the guy that everybody says he is. The answer among those 4 guys is Josh Beckett.
Finally, someone gives the right answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The answer you've
Finally.
been waiting for.
I've been waiting
Yes.
for Josh Beckett to be that answer every single time we've asked the question. It's Josh
Go
Beckett.
look at Pettit's postseason stats. They're not that great. He had like a 3.87 ERA or 4 ERA. He was 19-11. He had the same guy in the postseason as he was in the regular season.
Totally fair. Greg, how do you feel about that? Because I don't think you would choose Beckett. Would you game for your life?
I mean, Beckett was great when he was great, but his time of being great was pretty small,
Right.
whether by injuries or what have you. Pettit, I feel like, had a greater career. I'm a Hall of Fame voter. I wonder why Pettit's not in the Hall of Fame. Do you think he should be?
No, he's not in the Hall of Fame because he wasn't good enough to be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. I mean, 200.
You're asking a Red Sox fan if a Yankee should be in the Hall of Fame.
I get that,
I
but 256 wins is pretty rarefied territory.
Yeah, but also that was an era where guys pitched longer than they do now. Like, and he was a very good pitcher for a very long time. Classic compiler is what I would say.
Mike, I was too afraid to say it to David Wells' face about the playoffs.
Oh,
but
I wouldn't. By the way, I wouldn't have either.
Yeah.
That guy's huge.
But
Cowards.
the reality is that could you argue that basically all of those Yankee pitchers were just playoff compilers, and that's why they're considered some of the greatest pitchers ever? Even Cone, Pettit, all of them.
They were all very good pitchers. They were all like solid B-plus pitchers. That's why those Yankees teams won so much. There were no weak links in their rotation. Like they had El Duque and they had Cone and they had Pettit and they had Wells. And year after year after year, they just threw really high-quality starters against every team they played. And their lineup 1 through 9 was very, very good. Like Jorge Posada was secretly the toughest out in their lineup, and he was their catcher. Like it was like it was just a team with no weaknesses. So they, generally speaking, won more than they lost. But they didn't have like Garrett Cole. I would pick a Garrett Cole game for my life over any of those 90s Yankee starters, frankly.
So none of the Yankees are great, is what we're saying.
They're
right?
all overrated.
Compilers.
They're all just very
they're all
good.
very good. They're
Right.
all extremely good players.
Can
Like,
we
they had
find a
team-
great Yankee? Mickey Mantle.
Nick.
No, are we saying none of those
Joe
90s
Montecalvo.
Yankees, they won the World Series?
Roger Maris.
96, 98, 99,
No, Jeter was
2000.
great. Jeter was great. Then they had like Bernie Williams and Paul O'Neill and Soriano and Robinson Cano. And
These are all
these guys who
average
were, like,
players. Mike,
Very, very. They're not average.
They're
They're
good. They're-
Extremely good.
They're very good players made great
Yeah.
by the amount of plate appearances they had in the postseason. Right? Is that fair? Yes.
They were great. They were very, 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 very good players who played very, very, very well in the postseason, and they won 4 championships. So like, it's not an insult to say that they weren't all-time greats. Like, look at that Yankees lineup has one Hall of Famer in it, right? It's Jeter. Like, no one else from that lineup is going to the Hall of Fame because none of them. Bernie Williams was excellent. He wasn't a Hall of Famer. Same with Paul O'Neill. Same with, Matsui. Like, they just had everybody 1 through 9 in their lineup was an excellent hitter, but they weren't like
Scott
all-timers.
Brocious.
Scott Brocious stunk.
The hot corner. He was terrible. Yeah, but he hit a couple of big dongs in some big games for the
Yeah.
Yanks. I mean,
He totally
that's
did.
what it's all
yes.
about, you know?
Yeah.
But someone
Home
else
run
would've-
for your life.
Right.
Home run for your life. Scott Brocious or Roberto Clemente.
Oh, wow. Brocious. I mean, if I opened up to all the pitchers, if I opened up that same question, you have every pitcher to choose from. Who are you going with?
Well, I mean, if you're focusing on postseason stuff, you got to throw my boy Kurt Schilling in there.
Woof.
He was an incredible postseason pitcher. You probably got to throw Bob Gibson in there. You probably got to throw, I don't know. You got to throw like, who were the guys who like year after year did it? There's like guys like in an individual year, like Jose Rijo in 1990. Can I
Oh,
pick
he was
Jose
great.
Rijo in
Yes,
1990?
I would pick 1990 Jose Rio, as a matter of fact.
That Reds team.
It was a year, but man, was it a year.
It was 1 year, but man, he really shut the A's down. Yeah.
I think I would go like John Tudor, like in 91 on the Cardinals. He had a year. He did.
Frankie V. Get Frankie V in there.
Sweet music. I mean, that would be great. All right, we didn't get to your Tyler Herro take or another baseball question we have for you, but we will get to those in a minute. Let's get to your stat of the day first.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
All right, I haven't been on the show in a while, so these have been piling up. I got 2 Ohtani stats and a tennis stat.
All right.
Here's the Ohtani stats, according to Bob Nightingale. First 95 games of 2021, Ohtani had 34 homers, 74 RBIs, and 1,028 OPS in 325 at-bats. This year, Ohtani in his first 95 games, 35 homers, 75 RBI, 1,068 OPS, and 359 at-bats. And in both 2021 and this year, through those 95 games, the Angels were 47 and 48.
Wow.
How?
Seriously.
Here's your second one,
All
according to OptaStats. Over his last 28 games, Ohtani has hit as many home runs in the 7th inning or later as any other player has hit total during that time. That's 12 homers.
That can't be
That's-
possible.
That's
7th inning or
insane.
later.
That's a great stat.
Absolutely not.
It's also the most home runs in the 7th inning or later over a 28-game span in MLB history.
Jeez. My God.
Here's your tennis stat of the day.
All right, quickly.
Since 2004 Wimbledon, Federer, Nadal, and Joker 63 Grand Slam titles. The field 13 Grand Slam titles. Congrats to Carlos Alcaraz, by the way.
Yes. U.S. Open and Wimbledon champ. Greg, your thoughts on any of those stats?
This is the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugots. Gamble on by DraftKings.
We are sitting here with great anticipation waiting for Mike Schur's Tyler Herro take that I won't allow him to get to because we're talking baseball. And I love talking baseball with Mike Schur. One of the other conversations we had out in Tahoe is who physically represents baseball. Like, of all the players who have played over time, who physically just looks like baseball? I'll let Jeremy take it from here. I don't want to give away our answer, Jeremy, because I want Mike to hear some of the options here, and then we'll give away our answer at the end and see if we agree.
I have a guess, too. I want to play this game.
Okay, play the game.
Yeah,
It's a fun game.
Right now, I can just play? You want me to play right now?
Go ahead and play.
You want to just throw names out? Go ahead.
John Kruk.
Crucky's on the list.
Crucky was on the list.
Matt
Roy?
Stairs.
Matt Stairs was not on the list.
So we're going hefty. All right.
Well, you're going hefty. We were doing something different. I think we were going dirty.
We were going dirty. We
Yeah.
had, in terms of visuals, we had Kruk on there, but we had Dykstra, Biggio, Jim
Nails.
Edmonds, Pete Rose, Jason Varitek, Moises Alou,
Wow, Jason Varitek is great.
Dustin
it's a good one.
Pedroia, also
Yeah.
from those Red Sox
Laser show.
teams.
Yes.
Weirdly enough, Kevin Brown made this list.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Okay,
Thurman,
so he was always
Thurman
angry.
Munson, David Eckstein. We got a whole bunch of names on here. Mike, who is baseball?
I would like to point out that every time a question like this is asked about baseball, you're basically saying who are the grittiest grinders who play the game.
Pretty much.
It's
Yeah, that's right.
it's always only white guys.
Nope, Jackie
Ever.
Robinson
Moise-
was on our list. I just didn't get to it.
I know
Boom.
you threw
Oh,
Jackie Robinson
what?
in there to not.
I don't know what
you
you're
threw
talking about,
Jackie
Mike.
Robinson in there, and you threw Moises Alou in there. But this list always ends up being only white.
What are
guys.
you accusing of us? Accusing us of doing? Just like be specific in what you're saying that we're doing.
being racist?
Oh.
I thought that was clear.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
All right, here's some
Seems
other
harsh.
answers.
I mean,
I would say Pedroia's got to be on that list. I think he was, right?
He was on the list. Yep.
yep.
Mike, here's one. Mike Scioscia,
That's just a
both
great
as a
name.
player,
pretty good.
and a manager.
We had
Yeah.
Mike Lieberthal.
Have we just determined that if your helmet was dirty, you're on this list?
Pretty
Yeah.
much. Yes. Yeah.
Hunter Pence.
I would throw in Chase Utley. I don't think was on your list, right?
Yeah, we had Chase Utley as kind of a dirty player at the end of his
Yeah.
career, so he
Yeah.
went from being baseball to being too dirty to be the dirty baseball player.
Mike,
so it
your
just,
list so
just
far,
over the line.
super diverse. Your list so far, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
I'm saying like it ends up being all white guys. That's just what happens. I would throw Nick Punto in there. I would throw Kevin Millar in there,
Really?
and I would also throw Scooter Jeanette in there because his name is Scooter Jeanette.
Scooter Jeanette's a
Right,
good
yeah,
one.
exactly.
Why not Rizzuto? I mean, who did we settle on? Who was the?
Our ultimate answer was Craig Biggio.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
playing
absolutely.
multiple positions, having the dirty helmet, looking like there was no way he could be as athletic as he was. Craig Biggio, final answer.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
Bert Campaneris, I would throw in there if you want to go back a little farther.
Really?
Yeah,
See what you did there.
Got a wow from Greg Cody.
I mean, that's my era.
that's his
Mid
era.
60s. Go mid
I'm preaching to the
60s.
choir.
You really are. Bert Campaneris. Let's go. Caesar Tovar. Teammate. Cherished teammate.
Minnie Minoso, let's do this.
Yeah. Now you're going even further back.
My
Louis
dad,
Tiant.
my dad used to throw me fly balls as if I was an outfielder, and he would go through what year Red Sox lineup was it?
1967.
So it would be
67.
like it would be guys like that. He's like now batting Canigliaro or some
That's
guy.
right. Reggie Smith fading back in center field at the warning track. That kind of thing. That's all I got.
Reggie Smith isn't a bad answer. Oh, what about Pedro Guerrero?
Oh, that's
Ooh, that's pretty
not
good.
bad.
That's good.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. That's really good.
Yeah.
How about Doug DeCince?
Ooh.
It's not bad.
Brian Downing, the whole '86 Angels team.
I love that team.
That was a good decade for Dirty, the 80s.
It was. Wally Joyner.
Don
though.
Baylor?
Oh,
Is
Don Baylor.
baseball?
Yeah. Yeah, Don Baylor is baseball. But are you good with Biggio being baseball?
Yeah. Biggio's down the middle. It's a fastball right down the middle. I don't think you can really argue.
It's
with
the
Biggio.
obvious answer, right? All right, your Tyler Herro take. Your much awaited Tyler Herro take.
Yeah, here's the thing, man. Over the last week or so, nothing has been funnier than this show, both accusing Woj of being a mouthpiece for the Blazers and then also hyping up Tyler Herro like he's the second coming. It is not a coincidence that the Heat went on their magical playoff run when Tyler Herro broke his hand. Like that, I don't know how you can argue that Tyler Herro is a reasonable centerpiece for this deal.
Well, Jeremy's about to.
But also, he scores 20. You guys were seriously, I think it was Mike Ryan, to be fair, we're seriously trying to argue that he's better than Tyrese Maxey because he gets 4 rebounds a game.
It's a crazy take.
That was me.
Maxey gets 3 rebounds a game or whatever it was. First of all, Maxey plays with Joel Embiid, who's 100 feet tall. And second of all, that's not the point. Tyler Herro can't play defense. He is hunted.
Neither can
routinely
Tyrese Maxey, though. He's not a good defender.
But you're arguing that like there's a wide gulf between Tyler Herro and Tyrese Maxey. There isn't. And if the situation were different, imagine that Dame hasn't demanded a trade. And imagine that we all don't know that he can only go to Miami. If you heard that there was a Dame Lillard trade centered around Tyler Herro, you would say to yourself, what the hell are the Blazers doing? What are they doing? That's insane. He's just not that guy. And I don't – look, they have to trade him to Miami. That's clear. Like, we all know that's going to happen. But it is not a ridiculous proposition for the Blazers to put a hold on this deal to say there's got to be something better out there, even if they have to play him for the first couple months and wait for some other team to jump in. Tyler Herro isn't that good at basketball, and he's certainly not good enough to be the only meaningful player in a trade for Damian Lillard.
I think the argument would be that there's not really a discernible difference in terms of where their value is in the NBA between what group of players do Tyrese Maxey and Tyler Herro belong to. You can argue Maxey's better. I could argue Herro's better. We are just ultimately splitting hairs. But when you look at these two players, it's about the value that they can get back. So no, it's not about building your future around Tyler Herro. No different than you wouldn't really want to build your future roster around Tyrese Maxey. It's about what type of value does that player represent and what can they facilitate. Herro or Maxey probably wouldn't even end up on the Blazers. It's them then being sent to another team to get more first-round picks coming in because the Blazers want to be bad. And the reality of this conversation is there is no conversation. There's one offer out there, and it's for Tyler Herro, and he's a good enough player alongside the bevy of first-round picks that will be offered and the other types of money that'll fill in, that this will be a great deal. There would be no argument for any other franchise to get a great player like Damian Lillard for this type of deal anywhere but Miami.
You got Schur!
Raising his voice back here, man.
But the only reason that's true is that Dame has said he only wants to go to Miami.
Right, and that happens over and over all across the league to all sorts of different teams, and nobody's ever mad about it.
Sure, but the way that this needs to be explained is he's only said he can go to one city. The best player that the Heat have to offer is Tyler Herro, so that's what they're going to get. You can't make the argument, as I believe you were making as a show, and it might not have been you, Jeremy. It may have been Mike Ryan, Heat homer Mike Ryan.
It also was probably me.
Probably. But you can't make the argument that, like, oh, no, wait, it's actually, if you think about it, a really good deal. It's not a really good deal. It's like it's the best they can do because their player has said there's only one city he wants to go to.
Right.
So fine, you're going to get Tyler Herro.
I agree that if you make it Lillard for Herro, it's sort of a ridiculous potential trade, but it becomes a little less ridiculous when you consider that one player is 10 years younger than the other. You have a lot more down the road upside with Tyler Herro.
He's absolutely at his ceiling. There is no Tyler
okay, but
Herro's
his ceiling,
not,
but
he's
his
never
ceiling's
getting
not bad.
better? Are you saying he's never getting better? Are you reporting that exclusively?
Yes, that is an exclusive report. I've done crunch the numbers. He's at his ceiling.
Okay.
He maybe will go from 20 points a game to 21.5 points a game, but he's not getting better. He's never going to – you're never going to look back at this and say, like, oh, well, you know what? The Blazers really made out on that Damian Lillard trade. Like, forget it.
So, Mike, you're right in terms of maybe it's not an equal deal to get that star Damian Lillard to Miami and what they would get in return. But can't you look at any of these deals for superstars over the last 5-10 years and say, no, they never get an equal return. They get a bunch of first-round draft picks and whatever the best player available is from the team that this star demanded they go to. It's never equal.
I don't, in theory, disagree, but Rudy Gobert was worth
he's the one
5
example that I brought up in this
first-round
room saying, he's the one example where it doesn't make sense.
He's the Rudy Gobert who did nothing for the team that traded for him was worth 5 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps or whatever it was. I mean, The Wolves don't pick in the first round until 2037 now, and if that is the mark, and that's the Timberwolves being stupid, but that is not the same as getting Tyler Herro and like 2 pick swaps or whatever the hell the Blazers are going to get from the Heat.
Realistically, it's the magic of Danny Ainge, though, right? He could just go in and just tell anybody anything and be like, all right, yeah, I'm going to 5 first-round picks for sure.
I think it's the magic of A-Rod is really what it is.
Yeah, does
It's the
A-Rod's
reverse magic of
stupidity,
A-Rod.
is A-Rod screwing us again? Does
There's
A-Rod's
way-
stupidity
there's
change
no
this
way
market
that he
forever?
signed off on that. He's like, you know what? Great idea. Let's do it.
Yeah, love it. Let's do it. Splashy.
Is A-Rod the opposite of the game we were playing? Because he's like clean cut.
Yes.
He's not baseball.
Right.
Yeah.
I was trying to find the opposite, like who's not baseball that plays baseball.
Huh. Is
Oh,
A-Rod
what about
the answer?
Daniel Vogelbach? What about Daniel Vogelbach?
Vogelbach
for
is
who's
baseball. Yeah, he is baseball. He is.
That's a really good one.
I mean, he's closer to baseball than A-Rod is, certainly. But who's A-Rod? Who's not baseball? Is it A-Rod? I feel like Jeter's kind of not baseball as well.
He's clean cut.
No,
for
Nah,
sure.
Jeter's baseball.
Jeter's baseball.
Jeter does the thing
Steve
with his batting
Garvey.
gloves.
Steve Garvey is not baseball.
Why? What are you doing with Garvey? I mean,
He looks like a morning talk show host or something. Like
Right.
he's not. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
Chris Bryant is not baseball.
Too good looking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see that.
You're right. You got to be dirty. You got to be taking a lead that's way too big, sliding into some dirt somewhere. That's what. Yeah, and
You
that's
have
what.
to s-
and
you have
that's
to-
what Biggio is doing right now as we speak.
You have to somehow have gotten when you come up for the first time in the first inning. You have to already have your uniform dirty. You have to have gotten dirty on defense in the first inning.
Like Biggio. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. He's the answer. That is the answer. All right, Mike, we appreciate it. 3 stats of the day, a Tyler Herro take that I don't agree with because I do think he can get better. Okay?
No way.
I think he's
No
already
chance.
really good.
No.
He's fine. He's
All right.
fine.
Except on defense.
All right. When's this trade going to happen? I'm tired of it. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it.
Anytime.
I'm tired of discussing this trade.
Yeah,
I really am.
forever we've
Like
been
Damian
discussing.
Lillard, Blazers, make up your mind. You want to be here or not? Let's
Seriously.
go. I'm tired of it, Greg.
Let's do it right now.